if they outlaw driving and every car was automated and every road was like not, it kind of gets glitchy with construction, especially in Chicago, 294 right now, then we won't have traffic anymore. You'll be able to know ETAs. They won't change. There'll be little variance in ETAs because we're all on it's like the roller coasters had traffic. You know what I mean? Like,
This episode is brought to you by Isometric Technologies, ISO, the ultimate freight broker's secret weapon. With ISO, you'll have access to industry-wide service performance benchmarks, dynamic carrier and customer scorecards, and powerful analytics so you can understand your service strengths, address your weaknesses, and differentiate your carrier network from the competition. To learn more and get started, visit iso.io today.
Anthony, you're the founder of linehaul.ai.
yes, linehaul.ai.
Big business holdings.
Yeah. It is, all business is fake business until pen meets paper. So,
Okay.
So it started that way.
So there's a few topics that we want to go over on this podcast. One of them is, I know that you wanted to talk about this specifically, is like emailing customers, right?
I wanted to ask you because your newsletters are so, like, you guys, I don't know if you've actually did like market research on how to write a newsletter or emails to like make them to have a good open rate. But they are good regardless of whether you did the research or not. I've always considered, I don't have much time to sell too often anymore, but I always consider myself good at cold emailing, of just concise, straight to the point, use graphics, maps. But this market's so bad, and it's we're such an oversaturated industry, freight brokers, carriers, that I feel like the subject line is more important than ever now. And it sounds so silly, but we did a whole Discord once on, I don't know if you were on that one, Christian, but about email placement and like domain reputation. And so let's assume you've gotten past the firewall of or the quarantine for the shipper. What are the chances that you can get open? I feel like back in the day, every email is pretty much open, and then it was kind of like how well you crafted it, and if you actually did research, if there's actually a need there, et cetera, et cetera. Now I feel like, it's all about the subject line. You got to get past it. It's like the bouncer at the nightclub.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was curious.
So what's your best subject line?
Well, we actually discussed this with Will Jenkins yesterday a little bit. Like,
with who?
Will Jenkins.
Oh, well, yeah, Molo guy.
Molo, yeah. Now Journey.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, I'm wearing his merch right here. Shout out Journey.
Nice.
Yeah. So subject line is the most important for them to click on the email, but then obviously you need some kind of text to like actually make them interested. Besides that, right?
Yeah.
So subject line, like, what's something that's worked for you?
Well,
if you want to disclose your secrets on that.
I mean, I think I might have talked about this on the last podcast, or I don't know. I'm doing some freaking talking now. I don't know what I said where, but everything's very targeted. So I don't have a ton of time to sell, like I mentioned, but when I do, it's because we have a need. Like, I'll be, shameless plug here. We have 110 loads going into North Carolina per month, and we got 5 going back to Chicago. So I am looking for a shipper, maybe you, that has freight coming, drive-in freight going back. Because the whole premise, one of the premises of the company is to treat, even though we're a brokerage, to treat drivers like they're our own. Don't strand them, especially in bad markets. But balance. There's things I learned at JB Hunt and Schneider, actually selling assets. But come back full circle with the email. When I reach out to a shipper, it's generally targeted. So like, what's something that we do well at Linehaul? 46% of our volume is drop trailers, and I've built something into the TMS where we're able to track it's manual, not automated as I want to be. We're working on something, maybe in conjunction with Adrian over at Gateco, but called Virtual Yard, that I want to integrate with our TMS, kind of like a YMS where you use trailer. You use APIs to see when trailers come in and out. So this way we're not risking commingling. Like let's say freight A goes on carrier B's trailer and it should have went on carrier C's trailer. So
Is that a big problem for you?
well, most brokers won't put multiple carrier trailer pools in at the same facility. Most shippers won't allow it because think about it. Think about you. So you got a yard, you got a customer in Chicago, and one dedicated carrier never goes east of the Mississippi, or never goes west of the Mississippi, and the other carrier he never goes east of Chicago. All of a sudden, the wrong trailers are loaded, and then that trailer that's never been west of the Mississippi is now in Sedona, and there's no trailer exchange agreement between the two. So now you're talking about liability, insurance. I mean, God forbid there's an accident, and that happens. I mean, so most people don't want to take on the risk. Now, what I thought I would be able to do to make it easier when I came here was like, I'll just get multiple scat codes. Like I thought I didn't realize. Like,
Is that like possible for like a brokerage to have multiple scat?
I've worked at big companies like JB Hunt. They have a ton of scat codes. So
But they have different divisions, right? Is that why?
yeah. So like I wasn't applying for a second. I feel embarrassed to admit this. After 12 years, why would they apply for a second scat code? They're like, what are you talking about? We got one. I'm like, I need more. Like, no, you don't. You're good. I think they thought I was like trying to do fraud or something. But so coming back to the email, we do drop trailer goods. So when I'm reaching out to a North Carolina shippers, because the emails that I send, I'll be like, I'll literally just throw drop trailer capacity in the subject line, like just something that will, something that will just be like, oh, that's something I might need. I don't like, if you do research or even if you like ask like chatbots, like what works better, you'll see like these like really gimmicky subject lines, and they say they work, and I just can't get myself to ever be like use some cheesy like I don't know. I get that. I don't know. I don't do it. So I don't do like, hey, you want to make my there or something.
I've never seen a good broker cold email before. I get brokers that cold email me because for some reason Freight Caviar gets put into these lists for shippers. And
told me that before. Yeah,
I get asked by JB Hunt all the time, like, do I have trucks available? I'm like, maybe virtually. But
okay.
Metaverse.
Anthony, we got to jump in this real quick here. And we got into this email subject line. I do want to give our audience a little bit of introduction of who you are, because I feel like you have like a cool background that if people want to like learn more, they could go into our episode that we did in December with Marco. But like, can you give us a little bit more info about who you are, where you came from, how did you get in the industry, where were you, and then like how did linehaul come about? And then we'll dive back into all of this. I just want to make sure that they understand like who you are. You get some credibility from that and all that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I've been doing this since 2013. I started at XPO, like almost everybody else that I've met. I kind of just ended up at Freight. So I was working for VideoJet, which is a part of the Danaher conglomerate. They're a tech company. Selling like, I want to sell software.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start, pay your dues. I was selling like toner for like ink, or toner for like industrial printing machines. They put like the Julie codes on milk and stuff like that. Not the sexiest job, but I was living in the city. I was driving to Wooddale, and that reverse commute in Chicago is brutal. It's like I'm spending like 4.5 hours on the road every day. And I wanted a job in the city, and I didn't. It was 24. I was like, I don't care. I just want give me something that will give me money to go out on the weekends. And I called my buddy Matt Williams, who was at Echo. He was one of his first classes hired at Echo, but he left logistics. And he goes, you got to go try out this company, XPO. They're new. It's a logistics company. There's this billionaire Brad Jacobs that was he's got money behind it. They're publicly traded, but it's a startup. It's kind of confusing. I'm like, I'll do whatever. And I was one of like a ton of people hired. I was one of the first few classes there. And it just kind of, I just kind of liked it. It was a little chaotic.
What did you do there?
So I've only been in customer sales, which is interesting because I don't agree with that. Like, if I was ever have a company big enough where I was hiring people out of school and bringing them up, I wouldn't do it that way. And it didn't work, to be honest with you. Like, we would hire classes of 40. Like, I think they're.
Hey there, amazing listeners. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on our podcast, we need your support. It will only take a moment, but it would mean the world to us. Please make sure to hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to share with one of your friends that would enjoy our content. Your engagement helps us reach more people and bring more awesome episodes to you. Thanks a million, and thanks for being part of the podcast community.
Like, there's like a 90% fail rate, like every class. Like,
By class, you mean like a cohort of
higher class, yeah. I like the way I've heard that like CH does it. Where I think you have to learn the back end of the business first. I think ops is a good way to start, and then you kind of you kind of see both sides as like, as an AM or ops, whatever you want to call it. We call it customer ops. And then you kind of make the decision. All right, do I want to be carrier sales or do I want to be customer sales?
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be the rest of your life. So I was, customer sales. I was there for like two or so, over 2 years, and then I went to Grane, which is a trucking company, and we all know who they are because we're from Chicago. But they're I think this is their 100th year in business this year.
Well,
and
I do trucks all the time on the roads here.
Yeah, most of it's day cabs.
Yeah.
Had a really smart guy that started a brokerage. Their MC was from deregulation. It's like the grandfather got it and never used it. And it was all overflow freight. Marco was covering a ton of that. They had no salespeople, and they were doing $25 million without salespeople. And CS Recruiting, shout out, got me a job there.
I got a job from CS Recruiting too. I got a job at Everest from CS Recruiting.
You know what's funny?
What?
I had 2 offers.
Okay.
Everest and CS Recruiting. Or Everest and Grane.
This is what year?
2014.
It must have been like 2015.
2016. It was right when
Everest started, probably.
I think the guy I talked on the phone, I think it was Lev.
Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, that was
but
right
when they were in Evanston. Like, the Everest job sounded good, but they were in Evanston. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to go to Spy Bar on Sunday. I want to drive up to Evanston.
Dude, Evanston is dope though, low key.
I mean,
it's not that even far. I mean, I guess like what?
Yeah. I mean, like, back then, how I was, there's no way in hell I was waking up at 5 a.m.
Where was Green at?
I was outside sales. I've been remote. Okay. We called it outside sales since the XPO was the last job I had to go in the office for.
Oh wow. No.
Yeah, that wasn't my thing. I mean, I was, apologies to my old boss, Rich Driscoll. I was a dick. I was show up at 9, leave at 3, but I sold. Yeah. so I had a job.
That's the metric that you're measured at, like.
Yeah. No, but that was kind of sick about it. I knew it. So
sure.
Yeah, and then this is Freight Broker Capital here, but I wanted to get to the next level after years of Grane, and I wanted to sell assets. I couldn't get a job selling assets here. Okay. So I took a job at Schneider in New Jersey.
Schneider, you were working in Jersey for Schneider?
Yeah, then I moved up to New Jersey. I lived on the shore, Asbury Park.
I feel like that really would fit you. Like, it's like Jersey Shore, Italian, Gymtown laundry.
Most of the people aren't like that. I've never watched that show.
But you look like Paulie D a little bit,
Dude, the funny is, when I lived out there, the people there made fun of me. They said I sound like I'm from Staten Island.
Yeah, I could. Even when you say your name, Fecarotta, like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe Chicago style.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's the A. The A.
Yeah. Well, that's a strong last name though.
It's solid. There's only one Fecarotta.
There's only one Fecarotta.
There's only one.
Okay. So you were at Jersey for Schneider. You were selling assets.
Yeah.
Is that because like
only intermodal actually at Schneider?
Intermodal.
You only allowed to sell one mode. I don't know if it's different now, but great company, had a good boss, Chuck Demji. That's where I started to learn a lot about trailer bands. Like, but before we was in brokerage, I'd call and say, they'd be like, do you have capacity? Like, I got capacity. He was thousands of trucks in the world.
Yeah.
Where this is like, I was like overselling. And they're like, we don't have the trailer. I'm like, look at the trailer. It's like, it's the rail. You can't just, you don't have the trailers. You can't sell, like, sorry, we got to get more inbound. And I'm like, oh, shit. So,
okay. So it was a little more complicated than you thought it would be. You thought, like,
I made a quick adjustment, but yeah, no, it was, and thank God, because You know, I could have took another brokerage job and just been another, you know, mindless customer sales dude that never really learned the back end of the business.
Sure.
And I would have been. I would have never learned like the ins and outs. And I've had like really good people. I mean, like I had really good bosses that were, you know, no freight inside and out. Yeah, I mean, the way I've described my career is I've been gun for hire. Like, logistic turnover is high.
Yeah.
In our market. You know, I don't think I've ever been anywhere over 3 years.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, though, I mean, you know, I started with a base of 38,000, you know, FBO, and by the time my base was well over 100, my friends were still at bases of like 50, 60.
Yeah.
Because they stood there, kept getting their commissions cut, kept getting like 1%, 2% merit increases on their salary. Or listen, hey, it's like Brock's Tale, man. You know, Mickey Mantle's not going to pay your rent.
Yeah.
These guys, there's no loyalty in corporate America.
Yeah.
And
it's good to like test the market to see what you're worth too. You know, like
they do it in sports. They don't give athletes shit when they should change teams. You know.
Yeah.
But like if you,
they kind of do in Europe.
In Europe, we were well, me and my girlfriend off camera there. We were just talking about that on the way over here, like how European soccer is so
like
different.
a death sentence,
and like,
especially if you switch from Barcelona to Real Madrid, like you're good luck.
Yeah. So
American sports are nice.
They're really nice.
Yeah, but nobody gives them shit. But like, if you go apply at jobs, like, you know, here and they're like, well, why did you switch? Like, they cut my commissions by Grane. The reason you left there, they cut we had a new manager come in. She goes, yeah, we're cutting your commissions by 2/3. Like, okay, I did my resume ready the next day. Me and Marco were both out of there like very quickly.
Yeah.
So whatever. The truth is, I just always wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
While I've been doing all this, I've been in real estate for, flip houses, been a landlord for years. Bad halted when the federal interest rates are so high by whatever. It was something to do on the side.
Yeah.
And it's nice when you know, at one point I was forgetting more money in real estate than I was on freight. In 2021, that was a pretty good freight year too. But it's line haul was always the plan, but it was supposed to be 2025.
So what made it up?
You know, just the last company I was with, it just, you know, we just there were some layoffs and stuff, and it was not the we lost a big customer.
But you decided to not go and get a job.
I thought about it.
Got it.
I thought about it, and I won't say who.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
privately.
You know the company I wanted to go to. It was a good asset company that was using some really proprietary tech. Truth be told, they actually didn't get the job. I was shocked. I didn't get the offer, to be honest with you. But I remember I was telling my girlfriend Claudia. I was telling her, I was like, I hope, because I was freaking out because they're kind of like that. You know, you're in an interview and they don't call you, but then they call you and you have a good talk. And I was like 4 rounds. And by the end of it, I'm like, I kind of hope I don't get this job. I think I just want to do this. And I had the LLC ready.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope I don't get this job. And they called me like, did you get it? I was like, really? I was like, I didn't get it. I'm like, okay. So
I remember you told me that. I was like, Anthony, you should do line haul. Yeah.
So my old job where you worked, Everest, was on Revenova. I've always been on Salesforce forever. Revenova's great. I loved Revenova. We brought that on when I was in an interviewing there, they were still on, what was it, PCS?
PCS, yeah. Shout out PCS.
Yeah, they're like,
I worked on PCS for a few years.
Yeah, they're like, we got to get a new TMS, and they're like, what do you think, this or that? And I think they just hired Eric before me as CTO.
Yeah,
and they go, we think we're going to go with Revenova. I'm like, do it.
Oh.
I'm like, hell yeah, do it.
Yeah,
and I love Eric, and I probably drove him crazy because like most CTOs don't have a VP of sales that are just like also like developers. And, like we got to do this, and I busted his office. Like,
well, that's a unique trait of yours that you're also developing, right? Like,
yeah,
you play around with tech, and
I mean, I started coding in 94.
Were you like 5 years
95.
old?
No, I was like 6, 7.
You're coding.
I started coding in third grade, HTML. It was very easy.
Were you coding when you were in third grade?
I was born in 88.
I
So
was doing RuneScape bots.
I can't remember. We were using like, Notepad and Front Page, Microsoft Front Page. And then eventually Dreamweaver came out, which is funny because the TMS that I'm building is called Laneweaver, which is kind of, I taking the idea. It's like an homage almost, but
Love it.
I remember Dreamweaver was
Dreamweaver.
how you
Yeah,
built.
then Adobe bought it and kind of went to it's still a thing.
Still a thing.
Yeah, I don't know who uses it though, but
I've never heard of somebody using it in today's day.
it's archaic. Like Adobe doesn't sunset shit. They just kind of like
They just let it. They just let it sizzle out.
yeah. But no, I learned how to code like by with websites was just viewing source, and then putting the source like in a compiler, and just like the dumbest. I just don't recommend anybody learn how to write like this. Like you delete a line of code, you compile it, you go, oh, I deleted that, so now that's missing, so that must mean that equals that.
Okay.
Like
It's not exactly like a bad way to learn.
it's literally learning something backwards. Like but I think it's just the ADD. I couldn't sit there and just go like teach. There wasn't classes back then, but there was a lot of PDFs you could download on like undergroundnews.net. And there was a lot of books, and I just couldn't get myself to sit there, like, especially when I get excited about something, I can't just sit there and like deal with the class.
Yeah.
So I just had to like dive in, and so I learned backwards. But I'm not like, I've told you, I'm not a 10x developer. Like what takes me or it takes a guy like Adrian or like Garrett from Partner.
Load partner.
Yeah, well, take those guys like an hour to do. It takes me like 5 hours.
Okay.
And I stopped coding in freshman year of high school. I wish when I learned what girls were is when I stopped coding. And then in 2021, I got COVID. I wasn't sick. Like I lost my sense of smell, and I couldn't go to the 2 weddings I had in a weekend. So I just was in my house. I was bored. I just got back from Vegas, and
Probably recovering from Vegas.
Yeah,
Not sick.
and I just started writing JavaScript, and you get really involved in apps for tech, and freight tech really kind of taken off. I mean, it was already took off by 2021, but you started to see some of our legacy companies getting involved in it. And then Everest was really exciting because Everest was 100, they were valued at 115 million when they were bought, or when they were invested in by Cambridge. So, but they're not small by any means. They're not mega, but they're not small by any means. But they're small enough where I could have an idea for the TMS or like Salesforce, like on the sales side, like here, like their bid platform. Like they didn't have a way to do RFPs before, so we made like a workflow for that. And like it was small enough where I could have an idea, call Eric at like 1 a.m. like, dude, I got it figured out. And I'm like, I need God mode. And he's like, you're not getting God mode. He's like, I'll give you God mode in the sandbox. I'm like, all right. So, yeah. And, it was going real well. A lot of sleepless nights, just, messing around, coming up with some ideas. And then I actually, broke my leg playing softball. At April 20.
Broke your leg playing softball.
Yeah. So
How do you break your leg playing softball?
Dude, I don't know. I gained some weight over that winter, and I was first game of the season, and I was a fat guy trying to do skinny guy things.
Okay.
And we played on AstroTurf, and it was kind of sketchy. And Miro got caught, but yeah, dude, I had like a surgery, and so I was like in bed, like, and that's when they brought on I'm not gonna say which account, but I guess it's the USPS account. It's not proprietary. It's the United States Postal Service. They're a very large account. Sure we've all heard of them. And we were, Jake, the CEO, really smart guy, as you know, he was trying to revive it. So we weren't like, dude, we were in, but we were like bidding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, give me a login. Like I had nothing to do. I can't sleep. I'm in so much pain. Like I was laying there. I had my, I had the 12-inch iPad with the Magic Keyboard?
Yeah, Magic Keyboard. Yeah, the iPad Pro.
Yeah.
So
it's the one nice thing I'll say about Apple while I'm here. And I would sit there, and we were just bidding. We were just it became our biggest account. And the reason I bring it up is because I was doing the nights. So I was bidding at night, and I was running like kind of our night operations with a lot of our teams from like the trackers and tracers from Lean. And I would just see like inefficiencies or things that could be improved with tracking and tracing, but just automate. It could be automated.
Yeah.
And at this point, Llama, I was already messing around with Llama.
Llama is what for audience?
It's like ChatGPT, but you could run it on your computer.
Yeah, exactly. ChatGPT came out, OpenAI, GPT-3 came out, and then you had Claude was out, the competitor.
Yeah,
and
Facebook came out with it.
And then Facebook said they weren't going to sell a product; they were just going to open source it. So that's when, I went on Hugging Face and I was like learning this stuff, like everybody else, just diving in.
Yeah.
And I just sort of had an idea. I was like, wait, what if, we used to do these cross-country loads. Specifically, one that one of our heaviest lanes was somewhere in Long Island. I can't remember the city. Stop in Pittsburgh, and then Sacramento. We just all the time. Teams now that, you could say it should take this long, but you don't know what's going to happen at that second stop. And we were growing so fast that we weren't hiring trackers and tracers fast enough, which it's hard to project.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times, like, dude, I was finding out that, we were finding out from USPS, the Sacramento people were saying, hey, where's our load? And we're like, they were telling us it didn't deliver. That's the worst thing,
Sure.
And so I started talking to our operations people and asking, why aren't they, updating? Like we knew it was going to be late. We didn't tell them, and that's like, geez, guys, like, so like, just like they to be trained and stuff. I'm like, well, why is this not like? Why is everybody convoys and Uber Freight? So everybody's trying to automate carrier sales, which is like the hardest freaking thing to automate. When I say automate, I'm not talking about AI bots. I see those companies around now. We're talking about like load matching. Everybody's trying to like eliminate that position.
Yeah.
Where I think that would be the last position. Let's say everything else gets eliminated. I think trackers, tracers will be first. Customer sales, carrier sales, pricing, carrier sales will be the last ones to go. And they'll be around until there's no drivers in the trucks and the trucks are automatic. We'll all be dead by the time this all happens. So I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like how many years?
I don't know, man. I mean,
Christian's like very bullish on it.
No, that's not bullish or bearish. I like to ask that question, have a conversation about it.
No, it's true, but like it's something that we've talked about many times, and you kind of brought up that like you kind of see that future like in the horizon kind of thing where like
it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen.
Definitely. Look, I see the future just in the same way that I see self-driving trucks. Like, do I think that there's going to be a truck driving with no driver all across the country anytime soon? No, but do I think it's eventually going to happen? Yeah, absolutely.
It is 100%.
So it's a matter of like figuring out which small sections right now of a brokerage.
When that happens, you could automate carrier sales, you're saying, right?
I think everything that we're all trying to accomplish. You see all these tech guys come in the industry and they go, "Oh, it's fragmented. It's got it's right for everything they learned in business school is why they all come in here, because on paper it all should work."
No.
And it's like it's like a baseball game. This is the best team ever, and they lose somehow. They're like, on paper should have worked, but that's how freight is, because the human element is just way too much of an X factor.
And so which part of it is like too wild to automate for you, in your opinion right now?
I mean, at the end of the day, you have traffic and you have drivers, so that is, it usually takes me, I usually get here much quicker than I did today. With all the data that Google Maps has since they've been around in Chicago traffic, you don't know, because there was an accident. My ETA would have been quicker, as I checked, during rush hour than when I actually came here, because there was an accident after Manheim that shouldn't have been there. Or not even an accident. Somebody pulled over, everybody's got to look. Why does that happen? I don't know. We're humans. Why do people slow down when there's an accident on the other side of the median? They have nothing to do with you. You're a fender bender. But I think that I'm not smart enough to be able to explain it. I just know that I'll give you a good example. We both have Teslas, right? Do you have full self-driving?
I just tried it out. Yeah.
Does it scare the living shit out of you?
I know how to use it.
Yes. Yeah. Because I've been in the car with
Yeah.
him and he's been testing
We
it,
both have V11.
and it's been
I didn't do it.
sketchy.
You don't have V12.
And it's
Neither do I.
and it's good. What?
You don't have V12. We both have V11.
I don't.
Yeah. This V11 is quite bad. We were trying it.
Well, you don't know V12 either because you haven't tried it out.
I have seen the videos.
You've seen the video.
I didn't see videos.
No. I've seen the
fake news.
I've seen the comparison videos between V11 and V12, and it's a fundamentally completely different approach.
Whatever I had, so I broke my leg. I paid for it because I broke my right leg, and thank God I got the Tesla like a week before I broke my leg. But it was we were scared. She didn't lie. Like we were.
Yeah.
The thing would just like stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is not this is no business being on the road. Sorry, Elon. But
I guarantee you that once we get V12,
listen, it's going to get better.
Opinion will get
It's going to
changed
keep
about
getting better and getting better. But my point is, none of this will ever be foolproof or safe. Like it won't eliminate. I feel like when you get rid of every driver, and I love driving. I don't want that to happen in my lifetime. But if they outlaw driving and every car was automated, and every road was like not, it kind of gets glitchy with construction, especially in Chicago, 294 right now. Then we won't have traffic anymore. You'll be able to know ETAs. They won't change. There'll be little variants in ETAs because we're all on it's like the roller coasters had traffic. You know what I mean? Like, so then I think all of the load matching and stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm not talking down them. I love all these companies there. This job is none of this feels like work to me because it's now it's tech. In the beginning, it was kind of, it was a grind.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just fun. But I don't think our industry will be the utopia that we're not going to revolutionize freight until there's the human element's gone.
So the freight brokerage can basically completely be operated remotely, right?
Oh, we're 100%.
100%.
We're 100% remote.
Okay, so basically,
My reps can work on the North Pole, as long as they get their jobs done.
Okay, I'll try to keep this not technical as possible, but basically every single piece of communication comes in and out either via phone, email, or click and type on the keyboard, essentially, right?
Well, we use Ravens too, but
oh yeah, and
what do you use?
right? Ravens, birds,
Oh,
or doves. I guess doves could.
the Game of Thrones reference. But
Fair enough.
never watching.
I figured you weren't a Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah, I don't really watch a lot.
You look like a guy from the show Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But
So theoretically, and this is obviously a theoretical thing, if you captured enough information of enough examples of how something happened over phone or over text or by clicking and typing, you could reproduce it. That's the whole point of AI, basically.
really?
Technically speaking, yeah. If they all have
They all have to
be interconnected.
Every Slack chat, we use open
100%.
open phone. Everything's
100%.
transcribed.
Instead of actually,
And our company, we record everything. You
but
can't see.
instead of actually connecting to the application, it would have to be a full screenshot of your screen at all times. So it'd be a constant video of what you're seeing on your screen. And when you see a constant video of what you are seeing on your screen, it's the same way that a human is looking at it. You see multiple windows, and you're not like, we don't have an API from our brain into the application, but we're just
Not yet.
Not yet, right? We're just looking at it at the screen, and we're basically just within the confined space of 1920 by 1080 pixels. We're just deciding where to click, right?
Yeah.
And then based on where we're clicking, what we're seeing, we then pick up the phone, communicate. Like basically, we change the information from what we're seeing in the screen into the phone, or we're typing that into an email. And so, if you take that and basically can control a computer by just looking at it from an image or stream a video, which you can do right now because, at least cars, they're taking images, videos, and they're mapping it to steering and throttle. Okay, it's not super great, but it's improving, right?
No, it's. I'm being hyperbolic. It's amazing tech. Like people think of AI, they don't think of large language models, but people don't realize that the best AI around is Tesla. We see it every day.
100%.
Like whether you're in it or you're watching it, it's.
So computer vision is improving.
Or even their large language model, like when you press the button to talk, how much better is that thing at picking up your voice and knowing what you're saying than on a freaking iPhone? Because it's.
I don't know, actually, I don't know, because I only have iPhones.
I know, but well, you don't.
ChatGPT is pretty good, like at voice.
Yeah, of course. That's why.
That's what you're talking about.
Why? Yeah, it's like in Tesla, they're using
Tesla's
Tesla's
pretty
AI.
good.
Yeah. So when you click your steering wheel, you say call Bob.
Yeah.
Like, or did a complicated name, like call Anthony Fecarotta. That thing knows like my Italian friends.
Yeah.
It knows, like, if I say, hey, call Johnny Mascioni, it knows to call Johnny Mascioni. Whereas the iPhone, I don't know. But and so same with the Google Pixel I got, because it's using Gemini.
All I'm saying is that I think the only key that hasn't been unlocked yet is you just need to record basically a broker doing their job on a screen, video, like screen grab.
You're talking about actually
full
screen recognition, video, full on video recognition.
Yeah, that's the only way that will actually get done.
But the scope of like, dude,
because you can't have enough integrations.
Which
every freaking
which company would have the funds to be able to?
So my
that's a lot of data.
My timeline is 2035 that the compute will be so cheap that every company on planet Earth will be able to have like a supercomputer in their office. And when that happens,
like a quantum?
No, just like basically today, what would be like $30,000 worth of GPUs, you'll be able to buy it for like $500.
I agree with you, and it's funny going too off topic here, but Apple, one of their latest patches has they're quantum safing their encryption, and be like, why? They're $1 billion like a quantum computer, because they're quantum.
The quantum is even farther off from.
They're doing it for like the future of mind, because I guess there's hackers out there that are just harvesting encryption that they have no possible way of cracking. So one day in the future they can crack it.
Yeah,
it's like a thing. It blew my mind. I read it in the patch updates. But
yeah, I would bet money. I would bet money that whoever records enough video of a freight broker operating a screen, just video, and clicks on typing in the keyboard,
yeah,
they'll be able to crack it.
So
they also might end up in prison for whatever else the freight broker is doing on this.
You guys are both very technical. I'm not. Most of our audience probably isn't technical. Can you explain this a little bit more, like in simpler language? Like, let's just say,
sure,
you said GPUs that would cost nowadays $30,000.
Okay,
so would cost $500. I'll give. Wait, just one second. Let me just finish real quick. Would cost $500 in 10 years. But I'm wondering, like, for a freight broker, what exactly would this change? Would it just automate all the tasks? Would everything like that a freight broker does right now be able to be just like taken care of via like AI?
If you are a fully remote operation, I don't see why it couldn't be.
It's like
I don't know, man. I mean, let's talk about what's most realistic.
There's just one part that hasn't been solved about it, and that's the video. Like, it's basically training an AI to actually operate your computer.
There's so much nuance to the job.
But that changes. By the way, that will change not only freight brokering. That will change. There will change
the world,
so much.
Everything. I mean, customer service. I mean, there'll be a lot more simpler jobs that are eliminated.
Yeah,
but you're good. I think you're good. You say 2035. I think we're talking like 2085.
No way. I mean, we're right now. We can, like, we saw OpenAI. They're generating. You can now, not everybody, but OpenAI internally, like, they're making movies full on cinema.
Okay, that's
right.
What's that called?
Sona.
Yeah,
Sona, I think. Sora.
So yeah, they
it is getting so freaking good so fast that, like, we've never seen anything like this.
Did you see the CTO slip up in the interview?
I did.
They're like, did you train this on YouTube? She's like,
yeah. But okay, your question was about like the
cost
to explain
cost, and also just explain to like the audience like what this actually means for them. Like,
sure,
like GPUs get cheaper. Like,
GPU is basically, they're typically known for video games. You put them into your computer and they let you run.
What does it stand for, GPU?
Graphics processing unit.
Okay.
So they were typically made originally for video games. NVIDIA was the pioneer of this, and NVIDIA's stock is like through the roof.
I know. It's somebody who's played computer games his whole life.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't have NVIDIA stock, much of it at least, it's not like direct NVIDIA. It's just about, yeah.
But now,
about that.
Now they found a purpose. They found a dual purpose.
Well, he always knew though. He always knew. There's their CEO. No, he
probably
knew. I think the video game is always a mean to an end.
Yeah, but so anyway, the GPU was found a new purpose, that it can compute math extremely fast, and that's what's key to AI. So basically, AI is just, in very plain English terms, it's like serious amounts of numbers being crunched at once, and you're just basically taking tons and tons and tons of examples of something being recorded and compressing it down into a small representation, kind of like a zip file.
Different types of it. There's large language models where they're essentially guessing the next slot. I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. And then there's actually more machine learning where when we see that, a good example is the pricing tool, the automated pricing tools we see in our industry. That's more machine learning than a large language model. But yeah, you're right. And a really primitive or a really very simple example is how much should a plasma TV cost back in the day when you're
no, it's like $200 for
like if they were like $5,000.
Yeah,
like now that's So that's a good example. And even for my thing, when I was toying around with Llama, I was doing Llama because it was free, but I really wanted to use OpenAI. But if I was ever do this at scale, I would have, I wanted to do OpenAI. I'm like, do you want to remember how much they cost, the tokens in the beginning? Like that's nuts. It's not feasible. And they're cheap now.
Yeah.
And they're just getting cheaper. So that's when I was, come October, I was like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to go forward linehaul because I haven't explained to anybody what the AI is for, but the token cost, it's not going to be, the API cost is not going to be as much into the profit as I thought.
So let's try to tie this back into how this might relate to freight brokers, what this is going to impact ultimately. Because
I want to hear your opinion, and I want to hear your opinion because I feel like they're a little bit different, timeline-wise.
Sure.
Like you think it's going to be a little quicker.
So there's this concept that's called in technical land, it's called Moore's law. Basically, what it means is that every year the processing power basically doubles as to how much you can process in a given second.
The graph is wild. If you actually see the graph of it,
it's exponential, right? And so every year it constantly doubles. So if you just take that out and every single year you're doubling what we currently have today, like the fastest computers we have, every year they double and the cost of them is going down. Reasonably speaking, that within 10 years, anybody who is a freight broker, for example, could have a very powerful computer basically sitting in their back closet or whatever, and that computer is acting
or in the shower,
or in the shower, maybe to cool it off.
He doesn't. Paul knows what I'm talking about.
Wait, what?
The filing cabinet in the shower.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, basically, it can be like a personal. It's just weird. It's kind of a little bit utopic to look at it this way, but it's going to be this very powerful assistant that can actually help you run your company. And I don't know what that actually ends up causing as an effect, because if everybody now has access to computers like this, right? Maybe there's just a lot of individual freight brokers that are one-person teams and they just service their customers.
And you need a lot of data in order to work well, right? Like,
yes, you can. But for example, if you start recording yourself, right, then your data is your data and proprietary to you, right? So if you have special methods on how you want to care for customers, right, and how you want to speak to customers, that actually might be actually, not that you mentioned that actually might be a advantage of like how you could differentiate yourself from your competitor.
But it takes time to get all that data.
So you should probably be collecting it.
Yeah. So exactly, because like I said, we save every single thing. Like I turned you can't delete emails in my company. Like, you don't have a function. It's not there.
Okay.
Everything's archived. And I'll say, hey, watch what you say on Slack, even if it's in a DM to my employees, because not that I'm looking, but Lester and Chester, our current the current name for our AI models, they're watching. Those are going to be renamed, by the way. But right now they're Lester and Chester. But yeah, I'm like, don't say anything. I don't need.
Oh, those LinkedIn profiles, Lester and Chester.
Yes.
Oh, that's yeah. We made one of our LinkedIn employees is actually artificial. The picture doesn't look real.
Kind of looks real, yeah.
I saw that. I was on the line haul.
It looks like he graduated from like NIU and he just moved to the city.
Yeah.
He's ready to broker some freight.
Yeah. So Anthony, I guess in full transparency, since we're talking about it, you have a LinkedIn AI profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not like lying about it. It's
yeah. When I got sent it, I actually thought I was one of your employees.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of it. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, he had a full LinkedIn profile.
Well, if he was real, I would have announced him on the page like I did with Nancy. I would have been like, welcome to the team. I'm not trying to have
done that.
No, people think.
Now let me ask.
There's too much dishonesty and deception.
Yeah, you didn't know that, and you were a shipper and you were talking to a customer.
So Lester is
and it was all normal. Like you couldn't tell the difference. Like,
Yeah.
how did it make?
I mean, then he told me straight up, like, hey, listen, like, I got this guy named Lester. He's AI. Like, I think that's pretty sweet. You
yeah,
know?
but you wouldn't talk about it. I don't think you would. You'd be like, all right, just put me in touch with a human. But if you didn't know,
No, he's right.
no.
He's exactly right.
Yeah.
So there was a study on this.
Yeah.
When oh fuck, I forgot what it was, but essentially, it was a really good model. It was on the phone, and it always worked. But they experimented, and they told them first that it was a model, and they were like, no,
Yeah, it turned out.
go and talk to someone else.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they didn't know it worked. And there's like 3 companies that are doing what Happy Robot, who's the Freight. There's
After about
Partner.
Low Partner and Fleetworks.
I don't think Low Partner's not doing carrier sales.
Oh, Fleetworks is doing it.
Okay, I think there's 3 of them. Yeah, but I listened to some of those videos. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's gonna get better.
But there's only I'm just thinking this open a whole nother can of worms for fraud. Just people are gonna know how to start working these things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
the
get
officers
weird.
out there.
When Sergey calls and he's like, hey,
it's gonna get so weird.
he jailbreaks it essentially. You know what I mean? You're gonna Raycon for
But okay,
$5,000 on a 25-mile lane.
sure. But then there's like a company called Wirebee that they debuted at TIA.
I saw your post.
Yeah. So Wirebee is like just eliminating fraud from phone calls. So like fraudsters won't even call you. Like they'll be able to
That would get
recognize
crazy, right?
the phone number. They'll like if it's a legitimate MC, they'll send it to you. If it's like an unknown like MC, they'll probably like blacklist and like make you review it. And like they'll like you don't even get a phone call from a scammer because they'll just blacklist it. You'll have it in your one.
Cameras, I get the best with them.
Well, you could take it if you want to. Like they'll have it in your call log. So it's like Google Voice, kind of like you have like your own.
See, but that's a cat and mouse game at the end of the day. Now that we're on that topic, like it's a cat and mouse game because you can just cycle phone numbers at the same time. But it's at least a good preventive.
I got the burner app on my phone. When I pay good money for that.
What?
Legit phone number, the burner app. Everybody,
Burner app?
yeah, and they're legit numbers. They verify SMS or 2-step codes and stuff. But anyways,
we want to ask more
yeah.
about that.
My fear for that as a business owner is that it would cast too wide of a net. I'm not saying I'm just my first thought. Like I'm not trying to shit on the company. Probably a great company. But that's just my first fear is, well, what if a good carrier? What if the good carrier calls and we missed a good carrier, and then that was the load that that was the carrier we could have made $800 or $800 GP, and now we're making $200 GP because we.
Well, that's the same problem that like Highway has, right? Or like the
Your boy said this.
carrier identity solutions. Basically, they have there's a similar type of complaint, which is like, well, what if it's a good MC that gets caught in, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's a very difficult thing to solve. Should they be solving it? Yeah, 100%. And will carriers get caught in the net of it? Yeah, they will. But will it be better for the bulk of everybody? Yeah, I think so.
I think they'll probably figure it out because even like, I'm no expert, and just after the first like 2 weeks of our company, I was like, I need to train our firewall a little bit. Like it's just getting out of hand. The first thing I did was train it how to quarantine anything that resembles Landstar.
No Landstar.
No, I check my quarantine every day. It's filled. Half of them are to Nancy, and they're one of our carrier reps. They're fake dad emails.
Yeah.
And some of them are really good. Some of them are
Fake dad emails?
That's
pretending they're
Dad.
dad.
like fishing. Yeah, fishing.
You said fake dad emails.
I say dad.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, no, I was able to train it pretty easily to Landstar or right in quarantine. Even if it doesn't say Landstar, just I don't know how Google does it, but just with some train it the right way. And then a lot of the carriers that end up in there, they look legit, and I'm like, why do they end up in quarantine? Like, I'll check their MCs, and they're always bad MCs. I'm like, fuck, this thing's how's Google?
How do you do that? What's this whole quarantine thing?
So we're not on Microsoft.
You're not on Microsoft.
No, we're not on M365. We're on Google Workspace. You've seen a lot.
Thank God.
So this is what I will say though.
Yeah.
Microsoft has email perfected. Like
Why? I have Gmail and
collaborative emails. The collaborative inboxes where users can share and you could see it. Like so, like if somebody views an email, it'll be red for you. You can share labels and stuff. Tool tries to do that. It stops. It's not even.
I've never even seen it.
It's not because it's not in the native Gmail app. You have to go into Google Groups. It's
okay.
oh wow, brutal. But some of the plugins are actually pretty cool. Jamilius and another one, I can't remember the name. But anyways, they have that mastered. And Teams, everybody shits on it, but Teams has best quality video, and they're using GPT-4 for their, I don't know what their brand
Transcription.
Yeah, but it's not, their brand is called Viva Sales. I think it's Copilot they've settled on. They've used like 3 names. It's Intelligent Assistant or whatever. But that,
Microsoft.
the summaries that they were ahead of everybody on this because it's OpenAI. And like just the keywords, the sentiment, the speaker coach, those are 2 things I miss. But we're developing, and Google plays well with developers. The third party. I could rate. Just very easy to integrate with them. Whereas if you're going on Microsoft Outlook's App Store lately, it's not that it ain't that great. So that's why we did it. But I digress. There's a quarantine, which this is like the it's like the nemesis of any salesperson. You want to get past, and that's a rabbit hole we're not going to get down. Email domain reputation, but you can set a system administrator could set quarantines at different thresholds where how much. Essentially, it's a spam filter for the company, so it will never get to the rep.
Yeah.
You're not even letting the rep get a chance. Like a company's security is only as good as their weakest link, right?
Sure.
You're not even letting that give them a chance to get defrauded. So like the whole go get gift cards, those won't get through, but
so how do you set that up where like you're having like nice?
I log in as Google admin.
This episode is brought to you by Isometric Technologies, ISO, the ultimate freight broker's secret weapon. With ISO, you'll have access to industry-wide service performance benchmarks, dynamic carrier and customer scorecards, and powerful analytics so you can understand your service strengths, address your weaknesses, and differentiate your carrier network from the competition. To learn more and get started, visit iso.io today.
Yeah, I get that. But like, okay, like how do you know if it's a bad MC that's like trying to email you?
Oh, we use My Carrier Portal.
Okay.
And then, just between that.
Nice, ringing out CEO and TIA. The guy's a wild guy a little bit.
Pink suit
Shout out. Yeah, the pink suit guy. This guy was like dressed like,
I don't know the CEO.
he was a nice guy. Talking to him for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know the CEO.
Like I was like surprised like that he was the CEO because I was like, this guy, there's like, I wouldn't expect him to be CEO, but he was like legit.
Pink suit.
Pink suit. He was wearing
It
something
was very bright.
more like strange.
The sunglasses on?
Sorry?
The sunglasses on or no?
I think he had neck tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was Scottsdale, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
So.
But no, shout out to him. If he's listening, he was a really nice guy, and I've actually only heard good things about him. But he was a little bit like,
Dude, they had a great deal. I paid up front. They had a new broker deal. That was it.
so you set up with them, My Carrier Portal, and essentially you integrated it. I don't know what you did, but you just set it up to your email. So like,
No. This is so like my curiosity. At the end of the night, I'll go home tonight and I'll look through. I'll clear our quarantine because sometimes something legit gets through.
yeah,
And I'll clear it out and I'll see all these phishing emails. Or I also see legit not phishing. They're like carriers saying they want to book a load that was posted. When we do post, under 3% of our loads are covered under the DAT, by the way. I just don't like load wars. But
So what you use the Lost Freight Discord?
no. I'm just saying.
shout out, right?
Shout out, right? So I go on there and I was like, okay, this carrier got caught in quarantine. They wanted to, they're requiring about a load. I go, that's like, what if there was a good carrier? And every time I check it manually, it always ends up being a bad carrier. So like, I don't know what the behavior is that's getting them put. I'm assuming, here's what I think. I'm assuming the behavior of the scammers, of the bad, like the double freight brokers, is throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And that is that kind of mass emailing is what gets your domain reputation down, which is what ends up in the which just ends you in the quarantine filter. So it's almost like Google knows who the double brokers are, but they don't. It's just kind of a coincidence.
Sure.
But
Bad domain reputation.
yes, and you get that by emailing.
So that's not My Carrier Portal. Doing that. That's
but I'll double check. We use My Carrier Portal.
So
these MCs
users are like, how did you set up your quarantine to like have like, a bad domain?
So Google, people don't realize this. Even your personal Gmail, you could traded to different things. So if you move it around, if you move it in one label, you know, if you start to continually move it to a label, it will ask you, do you always want this email from this sender to go into there? Or if you mark it as important, it will always be marked as important, and not end up in like one of the different tabs, I think they call them.
Sure.
And then the same thing works with spam and phishing, and you're actually training it to get better. This is just classic machine learning. Yep. Yeah.
More data and examples you have, the better it gets.
Yeah. And then you could put custom. So like I've made a whole list of block domains, and then things that resemble block domains. So like having agent in the
your signature.
In the signature.
Yeah.
A lot of Landstar ones. I'm sorry. Like I know there's some legit good ones out there, but most of them at this point are double freight. They're whatever. But yeah, it's a fun tech world out there. We're working on some cool stuff that I think, if you go on our LinkedIn page or website, it says, first thing it says, we're not revolutionizing freight. And I chose that because I don't know why these tech freight companies keep saying we're revolutionizing freight every fucking time they launch. I mean, the other day with the one Reed, I'm going to say it on the podcast, but we're revolutionizing freight. It's a picture of, I'm like, dude, like, stop. You're not revolutionizing shit.
I think we said the revolutionizing in our keynote, but maybe not.
I didn't say revolutionizing.
Yeah, we're not revolutionizing.
Yeah, I wrote
we're not revolutionizing anything. All I did was, when I was laying in bed with a broken leg, I would say, it would be nice if these consignees knew their load was going to be late, because it's a cross-country load. Like, we were delayed. We know it way ahead of time. Let's fucking 2,000 miles. Now, if they would have known, they would have got a heads up by the tracking team. I'm not shitting on them. They were overburdened. Then they could have used that dock time, because it's appointments, to put somebody else there. It's efficiency. I just I get aroused by efficiency. So it's just like, it drove me fucking nuts. And I was just like, why can't we just use like the API, like a Google Maps API, to just calculate that, because it's easy, it's a team. So it's really easy to do the math. They don't have to stop. That's the one thing, I talk about this later, or maybe not, but it's the one issue I'm having with my prediction model that I'm having trouble with, is you almost have to know driver hours for solo loads that are over 2 days. So a short haul is really, my model is thrives on, like, it's not live yet. But in teams, it's good. But yeah, so this is just, we've talked about this in your last podcast. I'm not going to rehash it. Shippers just want to know ahead of time. All they want is proactive communication. That's not all they want, but it helps a lot. And it's not. I don't think it's revolutionary to say, okay, a predictive model figures out this is not in the time frame now. It's not in the margin of error of being on time, right? And if late, if early, don't notify. If late, it'll trigger a call out. You'll send an email. Let Chester, he talks to the customers, Lester talks to the carriers. Chester reaches out, and this is just simple. It's a simple field in our TMS that says, it's got the group distribution. For USPS, it's really easy because they're the USPS is how I got the idea for this. I'm not working with them currently, but they have catch-alls. So distribution list is all it is. It goes to everybody. And so emails that filter, and instead of, you could do this without. You could do half of it with a prediction model, just a template. Template just goes, load's going to be late. Reply all. And like, that would be at least better than not telling them. But no, so the AI reaches out, and it could say more than it's late. And this is a large language model, it's a GPT. And it'll say, it could give some reasoning why, because we have a knowledge base. You're seeing a lot of enterprises do this, where they're training your company, whether it's freight or, anything. You're training it on your company data.
Yeah.
So I train it on anything that's, my data, We don't have, so we're a new company, so we don't have a ton of data, but this thing will get smarter and smarter and smarter, and I'll try to do more and more with it. And then we'll be able to handle replies. So that's kind of like, that'll be phase 2 once we roll out phase 1. Like after that, like after it notifies us for a late load, we'll take the wheel from there. I don't need this thing like getting a response from a shipper and telling it to go fuck itself or something. But like, you know, eventually I want to be able to handle a reply. Like, you know, this is the new ET, like whatever, like, you know, whatever I think of. But that's not revolutionary. And it just blows my mind that nobody is just doing this, to be honest with you. The only thing even close is, you know, I talked to the load partner guys, they're working on some cool stuff, but they're not a freight broker. And they're actually selling, they're doing that. He's made a TMS before, Garrett. This is going to be like something that works with TMSs, and it's a different product, but I don't know. Maybe here's the other thing. Maybe the Echoes, you know, they got a really smart CEO. They got a lot of tech that they don't advertise. Maybe they are doing it. Maybe they are working on it.
And they might be doing it after they listen to this podcast.
What am I going to do? Patent this?
Yeah.
I got Lester. I'm going to patent it. You can't. Whatever.
They're right around the corner, by the way.
At the end of the day, they are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, I just want to make cool tech. You know, Freight Tech Tuesdays. At the Lost Freight Discord. I love the demos. You know, I like to develop my own stuff. I don't like to buy stuff. There's some things not going to develop my own. I'm not going to try to like make a fraud monitoring. So like this cat and mouse game going on forever. Accounts payable, like automation software. I'll probably, you know, outsource it, like that. Like not outsource it, but buy that tech instead of develop my own, because I already started. I'm like, this sucks. Like I just can't get excited about accounts payable, like, receivable.
Sure.
But that's all I want to do, and then, you know, retire and at the Amalfi Coast. That's it, and just have fun, broker and freight. I like what we're doing. Will I open source it? No, I like money too, but no. I will. Like
making money open sourcing shit. Definitely can. Linux.
Yeah, sure.
Runs all of Amazon, Google, Microsoft.
But it's you know, we're gonna model. You know, the TMS is gonna be called Lane Weaver. Right now, I'm running on.
Are you gonna actually go to market and like try to sell this to TMS others?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it under. I'm probably gonna open up another LLC, another business called Freight Cognition, and that will be. I think it has to be data integrity.
Is it gonna have an AI domain as well?
Yeah. No. I already don't. It's already registered. Can you get it? We got to come on here and talk about a company that didn't register already.
Freightcognition.com.
Yeah.
Did you buy freightcognition.ai? Maybe. Okay. We'll go buy it.
Do it. Sell it to me.
Yeah.
What are those guys called?
I'm gonna get off this podcast. I'm gonna buy it, and I'll be like, Anthony, I'm gonna sell it to FedEx, like while you're driving home.
I'll just name the company Load Cognition. That's part of the branding. But there's a data integrity piece. So like, I wouldn't buy a TMS from a freight broker.
Yeah, I know. And there's freight brokers selling TMSs, and I think they're doing an awful job right now.
I wouldn't do it just because of the data integrity thing. So like, it's got to be separate. It's got to be a different operating agreement. Whereas like, if I ever was to, first of all, I have to make it so like, kind of like, I'll figure out how, but it's built on Salesforce framework.
Okay.
So like Revenova, I have to find a way where I think if I make it a managed package, I wouldn't be able to see their data if I wanted to. Like I have to just log into TMS, but I have to find a way to really make sure people understand that I am unable. The company will be unable to see their proprietary data, like their lane or customers. And then also there's liability and stuff like that. I think it's probably best if I split it. I think the actual AI model will be owned by linehaul.
Okay.
So we'll license out the TMS.
Speaking of domains, Ryan Schreiber also owns the domain friends.let-friends TMS. So we need to make you aware.
Friends don't let friends TMS.
TMS.org. It's a nonprofit
organization.
What does it do?
He just like advocates for people not to start their own TMS and just buy software instead of build it themselves.
Yeah, I already did. I literally did it like.
But then again, I also
dismay of my girlfriend over there. I did it. Didn't see anybody for 3 months and just stayed awake and
You're like Kanye West in like his basement making
and built it.
but you're making TMSs.
Then again, I brought up to Ryan.
Less anti-Semitic.
I brought up to Ryan though. to that point. Like he was saying that I think it was Echo had their own proprietary in-house TMS. Coyote, I believe that was Bazooka was a TMS.
Yeah, I corrected. I was watching your Esplanade the other day. I texted you to correct you guys on your conversation.
Which one was that?
Oh, that was the
About
recap.
valuation.
Oh, valuations. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to like segue from that conversation.
I know.
I was like,
I
guys,
know.
I was like, this is
I know.
like we're like
Not
really
our
gonna-
wheelhouse.
So at the end of the day, EBITDA, it's based on EBITDA. But if you want to,
Yeah.
the layman, the
In terms of valuing freight brokerage,
simplest way to break it down, like it's like multiple revenue. Freight brokers usually, I mean, there's guys out here know way more than I do, but more than 1 times of revenue is good. Like
1 times revenue.
Like,
Okay,
think about what was Molo? I think their revenue was like 600 something million.
you said it
they
was
sold.
that 1x.
They sold for 275 million.
Yeah,
That's
but that was a little bit different. I think. But okay, but
But
it's
if you had
because
your own
of
tech,
yeah,
now it's the tech companies.
they go off of
2 to
revenue,
8.
but
No,
because EBITDA is not off of revenue, that's earnings before
but
interest,
this
tax.
is just another. This is just a more simpler way to
The value comes.
they're not sitting in a boardroom going, what multiple revenue you're going to sell at. That's not how they're figuring out the sale of the company.
Yeah,
But this is just we were talking about in general, like we're generalizing it.
sure.
Tech companies generally you sell like 2 to 8. If you if it was
Five right now.
yeah. But so and that's why like the AI piece would stay with linehaul because that would be that's ours, and that's if I want to sell, and I don't know, I might just want to run, I might just want to broker freight,
Till you die.
in Italy, just laying on the just when I'm in my 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it. I can't imagine not working.
Yeah.
I remember during the COVID, the zero interest rate phenomenon time, tech
Yeah,
companies were getting valued at like 30, 40, 50x revenue.
Don't you get me started. I'll start going nuts about the Fed.
They all, then ask me now ask me how many of them are either alive or basically about to die. Almost all.
That sucks that we like didn't take advantage of that.
Well, they all got flush with cash, and it's not always a good thing. Right?
Well, they got out with the big exit.
Maybe they sold some.
There was
secondaries,
people.
but-
I'm not going to say who was actually a tech logistics company. They're out of business now. I'm not going to say who, but I'll tell you off camera. But they pitched an idea, and they walked out the door with like 40 million without a line of code.
Yeah,
They're not developers. They just went over like this is like at the peak of
sure.
and like people were just saying like I got an idea. Like
there's a lot of that for sure.
I mean
Yeah.
like
You stick your hand out the window. And,
yeah. I mean I don't know. It is but no the TMS is going to be it's going to be licensed out. It's going to be cheap, cheaper than its competitors, and I'm doing it because it's fun. And for the guys, buy it, don't build it. What if you like buy it? What if you like build it? I don't know. This is what gets me excited.
No, sure.
Like, I have to go home and do accounts receivable for the night, and that doesn't get me excited.
Yeah.
At all. Like if it was the game plan here is to where I get to as a founder, you're doing everything. I'm working. This is founder plus developer. I'm working like 120, 140 hours a week.
Yeah.
But legitimately, but dream world, little bug there. I would be just writing code at night and just calling on Discord, messing around with you guys and read, and then calling just shippers and trying to find network fits, find synergies, and that would be fun for me. I wouldn't have to deal with the operation, the day-to-day operations, the accounting. That stuff doesn't get me excited. So I like building, but if you don't have like experience, like no, you should definitely utilize some of the good tech that's out there. There's a lot. That's
For sure.
there's options.
Yeah, you're unique in that. Like that you have a technical background and like you actually enjoy building the software. Whereas like if you're just a regular like, Joe from Missouri, who just like loves freight brokering or like that's what he knows, it doesn't make sense for him to like go and try to build this.
It's funny. I saw your post today. I think it's today.
What was it about?
That TMS movement.
Yeah, we interviewed Andy yesterday.
Oh yes, okay. I didn't know who they were, but I checked our mailbox, and I had like a huge yellow black.
Yeah.
And I was like, movement. I'm like, that's a watch. And,
Someone commented it somewhere about that too.
yeah, but I looked at the team. It looked cool. I told Freedom, like, get them the demo. He's like, I think TMS demos are. I keep requesting TMS demos. and he's like, I think TMS demos are boring. I go, I think they're awesome. Like, that's what. Listen, it's all great, but that's the foundation of a freight company. None of these other things work without the TMS.
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do? API in the fucking Google Sheets?
You go to TIA and like half the companies are TMSs.
Hey, we need options. I mean,
Yeah.
this, and you know what? Good. And I can't wait till this revolution happens on the shipper side, because these dinosaurs, fuck it, I'll name them, Manhattan, and just all these, you know, these huge TMSs. That the only reason these shippers are like pigeonholed and using them because they had their YMS, and then like 40 years ago they got their TMS, and now there's too much of a data migration to change, and it's making guys like us have to use EDI, which is tech that's older than my mother, who's 54, but that's old tech. It's not old mom, but it's old tech. Okay, we need to be using EDI. We have API. We don't need to be using EDI. I'm dodging it so hard. I'm trying not to. Like anytime they look at EDI setup, I'll do API. It'll cost me a fraction. I can do it myself, and I don't have to. It will take a year. But I can't wait till we get the option. The shippers get the options on their TMSs that we get that we're having now. So it's fun time.
Anthony, we have 10 minutes left, and I do want to, I guess, go back to our first discussion, which was actually what you texted me, what you wanted to mainly talk about.
So,
but maybe not mainly talk about.
Yeah.
But I do want to finish off on this subject because I think it's important, especially since a lot of our audience is like customer sales reps, freight brokers, that kind of want to know like the emailing stuff, and what works, what doesn't work in customer sales. Like, I mean, you're a young company, you probably don't want to disclose all your secrets, but you know, maybe like give us some like bits of that. Like you did mention like the subject line is super important. Like, what does that even look like? You didn't mention the capacity thing.
I just want to clear up. When I brought it up, I was wanting to ask you so you could tell me what to do. Dude. I
want to give you a shit funny story about
that. And I also have, I was looking up studies. I was looking up studies on emojis, because they're saying like the number is like 40 to 50% higher click rate on emails with emojis. But then I'm not going to say who. I have a good friend and customer who he sees an emoji, you're done.
No.
If you're an active broker in the network and he sees an emoji, you're still done.
I wonder where they took that pool of survey. If they surveyed shippers, I wonder if the numbers would be like 0.
Yeah. Funny story about the subject line. So April Fools, we're like preparing this newsletter, and like Christian's like messages like because we're like talking about subject lines, and like Christian's like throws out like, right, freight carrier shutting down. I'm like, let's do it. Like, yeah, let's do that, right?
He takes it to the next level. It makes it the main image fucking graveyard.
Well, that was your idea, I think, too. About
the subject. We should have.
Yeah, that's right. She said it because Paul died, and like a fake.
I had so many people. I had some people walk up to me at TIA and like, dude, you got me so bad with that email, and like I had 2 people. One of them was Truck Stop. We were hanging out at the Truck Stop party at TIA, and Brent, the chief relationship officer at Truck Stop, was like, dude, I saw that, and I reached out to our marketing team to tell them to buy you. And then, and then the second one was like this other guy.
You should be like, how much? That's literally the first one that went through my head.
Well, like, and then like
that's a free valuation.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but like if a company is like about to, close down, let's just say we were closed down, like it's a much lower valuation, but
so times that by 4. 8x the revenue.
Magic numbers.
So, and then another guy from St. Louis was like, Paul, like I literally was like, I was about to text our like CEO to tell him to give me money, to tell him like, you need to give Freight Caviar money because they're about to go down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, okay, like pretty cool, pretty good reaction. But I had a lot of people come up to me and like, you got me, which was like
also
honestly great marketing in a way. We had so many emo subscribers because I did it this way where you obviously can't unless you subscribe, you can't read any of the newsletter. And typically you could
really,
if you're not subscribed, well,
There's only a portion.
there's only a portion of the good morning message, but I actually moved it up on that newsletter where you can't read anything unless you subscribe. We got 60 subscribers in a few hours,
Which is
more
more than normal.
yeah,
Everybody loves a train wreck. Everybody wants to see what's going to happen.
exactly.
Yeah. Same reason everybody stopped on the opposite lane of traffic on the way here.
No.
Do you know Paul Lang, the guy from Leaf? He's a good buddy of mine. He hit me up, and he's like, it was just a screenshot. He's like, dude, I was like, it's fake.
Well, the funny thing is that like the thing that I didn't think about before we posted that was that on LinkedIn, like the way LinkedIn works is that a lot of people log in once a week or something like that, and LinkedIn will show you the post from like a week ago.
You're right.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Even if you don't log in once a week, I log in every day, and I get in my feed.
Exactly.
I get 3 weeks.
That's true. Yeah. So even every day, I'll still see go 2 weeks in.
How it works.
And so literally, like my mom logged in, and she goes, "What do you mean you're guys are shutting down?" I'm like, "Mom, holy shit!"
My cousin texted me last week. She was like, "Are you shutting down?" I'm like, "I'm in Arizona TIA. Like, I'm not shutting down." Like,
You're going full steam ahead.
I was like, you just got a new apartment. You need my money.
Basically, like shit. So that was a learning lesson. Like I mean,
got a lot of people's attention.
It got a lot of people's attention.
Yeah.
Got a lot of subscribers. And at the end of the day, I mean, whatever. It's not the end of the world, you know. So
I think they did really good.
There's
a
a
really good-
podcast.
We can't do it again.
yeah,
But
but yeah.
It's funny thing. It works every year. April Fool's. I don't blows my mind.
you know what's funny too? Because I live in Poland, so it's like 3 p.m. like when it's 8 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So like I already woke up in Poland and like 8 hours beforehand, I already got like fooled by one tweet.
Yeah.
And so like you always get that one April Fool's either post that kind of throws you off like in the morning, and then you're like, oh, it's April Fool's Day. And we were 8 a.m. Chicago time, so like everyone just woke up and like, what? And then they realized it's April Fool's right afterwards.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you guys got it nailed. Like even like isometric. I met John over there. Like you have to listen to the carriers. I'm like, every time I see a good carrier in there, I hit up like our reps. I'll be like, send me a random packet. We'll send them random packets. Sometimes they get filled out.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, here's our network. If we ever start moving that lane, we know who to. What was I gonna say? Totally forgot. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But
We got a few minutes left until I think data card. Derek's about to fall asleep right there.
All right. To close this out, if you can, out of all the years you've been a freight broker, what's a story that you can share and the craziest story that you can share?
not the
Can't share it.
okay. A lot of the crazy stuff I can't share. So what I'm gonna say is not
So
gonna.
the craziest that you can share.
Okay. Fist fight.
Oh my.
Legit, like not like a pushing match.
You know,
Punch in the face. An XPO's floor. XPO, 303 Swacker. I think they're still there.
okay.
People have to understand, when I started XPO, I would call shippers and be like, XP who? Like nobody knew who we were.
Yeah.
Brad Jacobs was a fucking genius. Like the guy would come on the floor, sit down, like role play with you.
Yeah.
He'd be like, all right, we're role playing. Let's just billionaires just down.
Yeah.
And
That was pretty cool.
it was badass. I remember like one time I was role playing with him. Like, honestly, sir, he's like, never say honestly. He goes, studies show that people that say preface with honestly are about to tell you a lie. I'm like, fuck, I say that all the time. Anyways, I'm digressing. Carrier reps. It was always carrier reps.
What were they fighting over? Or if
It was a wild west. We had no HR until one of the girls got blacked out on Free Beer Friday. Then we got HR after that. But we had no really good, like, we didn't have AMs. Like I was a couple, we were basically Cradle Raven for a few months. We didn't have, by the time I quit there, we did not have AMs. So there was no rules for like who gets a load. Like there was no regions. And you could just cherry pick as a carrier rep, you know?
Yeah.
And as a sales guy, you like that because he'd be like, hey, the best is going to get it. And we'll think about when two guys, click at the same time as on the cloud. They got some great APIs, but there's a little bit of lag and back then on it. And the one guy's like, I clicked it. The other guy,
So it was a couple years ago lag, but yeah, go ahead, sir.
and no, I always get shit for trash and TMSs. McLeod's actually, they're good. They've stayed relevant. TMW though, should be ashamed of yourselves. Windows 3.1. Get this shit out. Get that off the market. done. Put it in the back. Put it out back and put it out of its misery.
So these guys were
So
basically
they stood up and they just fucking, they're pushing, and one guy flipped the hat, the other guy just punched him in his face. And I was like, you hear somebody get punched in the face, it's not like the movies. It sounds like a thud, like that. That's what it sounds like. It's not like and for me, I was doing wild shit on weekends, and this is usually my weekends. I wasn't seen at works. You know what I mean? Like that's Tuesday. That was supposed to be the place where I get around like the not crazy people. And I'm like, and I was still, this was only a few months into the job. I'm like, yeah, I like this industry. This is cool. This is cool. I mean, I'm rough around the edges. I can't do the buttoned up. Mark always tells me, you're at a company now. People are going to see what you say, and I'm like, dude, I only know how to be like this.
Yeah.
It worked for Mark Cuban, and it worked for Elon Musk and whatever. I mean, it's just so.
I respect that though. Like people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I get terrified like every time I speak in one of those events or when I do this. But I didn't watch our episode I think I watched it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not for months. Yeah. Weird. I don't know. But watch it yourself. Do you guys watch your episodes?
No,
not really.
Weird. But but that was wild. And it's weird. This is a weird industry because I try to explain it to people, especially before COVID. Before COVID, everybody saw I was a truck driver. They're like, oh, you're using trucking. And now after COVID, they're like, here, this is good money. Hiring? I'm like, yeah, I just work 14 hours a day, freeze my nuts off, and negative 55 polar vortex on the blue line. That wasn't so glamorous then, but this explaining this industry is like, carrier reps it's more of a blue collar job, where I have my counterparts and carrier reps, they're talking to dispatchers. It's considered more blue collar, and like I would be at like reserve cut in Manhattan, $750 dinner between two guys, but we're both making the same amount of money though, which is we're both pulling. Me and the carrier rep are both doing real well, but our like experiences are completely different, which is why some events like this, like there's always like a fight at food shippers. If you guys have it, I don't know if there was one this year.
There are food shippers now, but
yeah. By the way, your top list of conferences, you didn't have food shippers on there. It's like the biggest one.
So like, well, first of all, like you gotta get like you have to like be invited to it, right? Or you have to have like be a past attendee.
Sales guys don't pay. They don't actually go. We don't go in the conference. We
just you just hang out. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably stop by there next year.
Yeah. But though there's always a fight at food shippers because it's the carriers and the brokers. There's one event they both go to, and the shipper. So all three are there.
Yeah.
And it gets a little rowdy.
It's fun,
dude.
Yeah.
But
good stuff.
Cool.
Anthony, damn, this was sweet.
Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Freight Caviar podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, or if you didn't, leave a review. Let me know what you think. I appreciate any feedback. If you'd like to have more Freight Caviar content, go to freightcaviar.com and subscribe to my email newsletter.